Hey, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the final alliance war of this past season, this one against the Allied rulers. And we're going to be bringing in a pretty interesting team today. We've got Ultron, Jabari, and Sigil Witch, and you'll see here later on in the video why I chose to bring some of them. Notably, one of my favorite fights of this entire video was the Defective Defense Void, that is the former Encroaching Stun node, that you're going to get to see here in a little bit. So today I ended up going on path 8 in section 1 and then 8 again in section 2, and we're starting off with this Captain Marvel movie, and it's just a pretty straightforward fight. Honestly, I ended up using Sigil Witch for it just to deal the burst damage back to her with every hit, since she is of course a mystic. And this fight goes by really quickly. There's no real threat here. I tried to play around her binary and knock her down so that she wasn't, going indestructible or anything. And you may wonder why I end up taking a lot of these fights on Path 8 with Sigil Witch, despite the fact that there's the periodic Nullify immunity. I know a lot of people have taken Path 8 with Mystic still, despite the node. And it still ends up being pretty easy, to be honest. You just have to play around it. I do run Mystic Dispersion at 5/5, which is why I gain so much power so rapidly, and it really plays into a lot of these fights that I have today. Next up, I have a Mixmaster Nova here. I love this fight so much. It went way better than I thought it was. I was honestly a little bit worried about it because of High Ground and Sigil Witch requiring parrying so much, but I have taken Novas before with her. As you see, I'm big boosted up, and immediately at the start of the fight, you're going to see me gain some rapid power because of the Power Start 1, and then, of course, Mystic Dispersion. So I throw that special one immediately, and I really should have gone for maybe one more special one. Well, actually, it really doesn't matter because I end up nuking him down just with the single special 3 regardless, as you're about to see here. It does so much damage, and if he had had any additional buffs on him, it would have done even more and possibly would have just killed him outright because of the extra bonuses that it gets. And that degen is ticking really high, over 4,000 per tick. Now, I did miss that special one right there, but just parried a couple more times and got more power and was able to nuke him down with that last one. Easy fight. It was a ton of fun. So this next fight is actually the primary reason why I chose to bring Jabari in today, and is the Defective Defense Void here on the old Encroaching Stun node. And it also has Window of Opportunity Stun. And so, as you see, I'm trying to play aggressively and keep my cleanses active the entire time. So that way, if any of Void's debuffs end up sticking on me, or if he hits into my block, then I can safely remove that debuff. And here I accidentally take a full combo, but he throws that special 2 right when I need him to, so I'm able to get back in time to take care of that Void debuff that he was attempting to place on me. And I'm just going to build up to my special 3 because I had gone past my special 1 and I'm not going to be parrying to build up my charges. I decided to go there so I'm able to enter the hunt, so you're going to see here in a second. The special 3 does give you 3 permanent Huntress charges, and so that way if I hadn't actually ended up killing him here in the first cycle, I would have been having a much easier time moving into the second one. I'm really lucky with the way that the AI is playing here, because the only downside here is if he had turtled up when he was at high bars of power and I wasn't able to keep that cleanse on him, then it's entirely possible I would have taken a lot more damage. But Jabari handled that fight beautifully, and it is honestly something we'll probably do a little bit more into next season. Next up, moving into Path 8 in Section 2, we have this Storm Pyramid X. Ended up taking with Sigil Witch again. And it's a bit of a slower fight compared to Captain Marvel or Nova, especially with Divine Barrier. I don't end up being able to steal as many buffs because I'm trying to play around it a little bit more. And I actually end up choosing to play this fight slightly differently in terms of my special rotations as well. I do the regular special 1 rotations at first to build up my instabilities, and then later on I end up actually choosing to go with my special 2 rather than the special 3 in order to remove the extra weaknesses from the node on myself. And it works out really well. The annoying thing about Storm, in my own opinion, is that you have to bait that special 1 from her, because the special 2 is just way too dangerous. If you get clipped by it, you're going to have a bad time. So I was doing my best and played a little bit slower in order to bait out all of these specials from her. And luckily I still had my power back boosts on and everything like that. So I was able to build back to another special 2 very quickly and end up taking her out pretty quick. But as you can see, that the special 2 didn't really do that much damage to her because of all the weaknesses on me. But luckily I was able to take it down nice and easy. So next up we have Cersei, who is annoying as hell to me to fight. And actually I will have a Cersei video coming out for offensive use. If you're interested in that, I'll have that coming up soon. I ended up pulling her recently, got a lot of fun ideas for using her. But anyways, completely besides the point, Cersei is annoying on defense. We all know that. The glancing buff and her extra power gain and the unblockable and everything else, the special 2, it's irritating. So my idea with Sigil Witch was I wanted to try to bait out that glancing buff from her so I was able to nullify it quickly, and luckily she threw her heavy right when I wanted her to, and then I was able to nullify all those buffs before the immunity came up. That way I was able to gain a lot of power rapidly, and then you see me back off here so that I can start stealing these buffs again. And I wanted to get that Fury from her, but it didn't work. And I actually wanted her to go glancing again, but I ended up throwing my special 3 anyways. If the glancing and the transmutation had built up a little bit before this, it's the same deal as the Nova fight in that I would have done so much extra damage due to the fact that her special 3 gains a lot of extra attack based on the number of buffs on the opponent. And it would have been really awesome. So there with my power back boost to get back up to my special 2, and I throw it, she goes glancing again, and it's all good. There I actually was able to remove her unblockable from her. And then this is what I mean, like, yes, she's at much lower health, but I throw that special 3 while she has the extra debuffs, or sorry, the extra buffs on her, and it does some pretty good damage despite the extra weaknesses on me. Moving on into another really fun fight, I had this Human Torch shared fight with Kinetic Transference and Feats of Indestructible. I ended up taking this with Jabari, and I just tried to play as intercept heavy as possible so then I wouldn't have to worry about Kinetic Transference as much. And the AI plays wonderfully into me. It ended up being awesome. There I did have a failed input and I didn't evade, or I didn't dash back whenever I'd attempted to. It's alright, it happens. We all know that the game's having some input issues. But through this fight, I'm just going to be spamming my special 1s in order to build up the Huntress charges, because anytime that you strike into the opponent, it is on a slight cooldown, of course, but whenever you hit into them while they have Ensnare, you can build up the Huntress charges as well. There I did have a failed intercept, but I'm still maintaining full control over this fight and gonna throw another special 1. And I mean, you see just how good her bleed damage is in general and how well that she was able to control that fight. Even when I ended up getting hit, I was able to shrug off the incinerates on myself. And I think that she is not getting the attention that she deserves, but she's definitely been doing really well for me in the past few wars that I've been able to use her or anything like that. So anyways, so moving on, we have this Bishop on Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power. This is a pretty common placement for Bishop. I'm sure most of y'all have seen it before. And I ended up bringing in Ultron specifically for this fight because he just handles it so well. The extra degens on, every few hits ends up working really well. And Ultron is just a great Bishop counter in general. Now, my Ultron is only rank 2 and is unawakened. The awakening does help quite a bit with the incinerates in case he throws a special one like he just did. But I was able to play around the timers on the incineration so that I actually didn't end up, I think, taking any incinerate damage after that. And it worked out really well for me. So my goal here is, of course, build up to my special 2, find an interval to heavy to place the extra degens on him in order to get a bigger cauterize off, and just throw for big special 2s and then use my damage after the cauterize is active in order to just nuke him down. I did miss a special 2 evade. It happens to me every once in a while. I'm still not 100% on it, but luckily the invulnerability boost did keep me from taking a lot of extra damage. There I get the full evade, and you see my damage is really nice while cauterize is active. And I'm going to go for one more special 2 rotation, bait out that heavy and counter with mine, and then throw that special 2 into him while all those degens are active, and Bishop goes down without any real issues at all. Going into our last fight for the day, we actually had one that I had been wanting to take for basically the entire day, but we had another Alliance member who was originally assigned to it. We had a slight change of plans later on, and selfishly, I'm very happy that I was able to take this fight, because I knew that Jabari would handle it stupidly well. So I did get a White Max pre-fight on it so that I could freely parry, but my goal here is to throw special 1s in order to constantly have Ensnare active. While Ensnare is up, the opponent cannot evade, period. And then additionally, whenever I enter the hunt, she also cannot evade. And you're going to see just how well Jabari can take care of this. Spider-Gwen is a very common placement here because without a proper counter, she does have the potential to evade, and brute force can be annoying, that kind of thing, but I don't think it's a very difficult fight, to be honest with you. There I enter the hunt, and I'm able to get the full fury active on myself, and the constant crits and the bleed damage off of it is just wonderful. I wasn't able to stay in the hunt for very long because, well, my Jabari is unawakened. Awakened does give her some extra time in there, but it is a really great chunk of damage I was able to get off, and Spider-Gwen didn't hardly do, she wasn't able to do basically anything to me for the entire fight. And it was a ton of fun. I'm really happy that I ended up getting to take it. Overall, with this war specifically, I'm very happy with the team that I got to bring. It was a lot of fun getting to showcase some less used options and show to a lot of people just how good certain champs are for specific things. We did end up losing this war, but we ended up placing high plat 1 for the season. Overall, I'm pretty happy. Hopefully next season we're able to make it into Masters. Those of you who know of my alliance, or me specifically, know how hard we've been working at trying to get into Masters lately, and I'm really hoping that next season we're able to get there. I think that we can, though. We've taken a lot of extra steps in order to build towards it, and I think next season is going to be it. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, just let me know. I'm always happy to hear feedback. If you think that I ramble or mumble too much, I'm terribly sorry. My ADD is something that I can't control, and I say a lot. I hope you have a great rest of your day, or else. Thank you, and see ya.